सङ्कीर्तनैकपितरौ कमलायताक्षौ विश्वम्भरौ द्विजवरौ युगधर्मपालौ वन्दे जगत्प्रियकरौ करुणावतारौ। नमस्त्रिकार सत्याय जगन्नाथाय सुताय च सभृत्याय सपुत्राय सकलत्राय ते नमः। अवतीर्णौ सकारुण्यौ परिच्छन्नौ सकीश्वरौ श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यनित्यानन्दौ द्वौ भ्रात्रौ भजे। स जयति विशुद्धविक्रमः कनकावः कमलायते क्षणः वरजानुविलम्बिषड्भुजो बहुधा भक्तिरसाभिनर्तकः। जयति जयति देवः कृष्णचैतन्यचन्द्रो जयति जयति कीर्तिस्तस्य नित्या पवित्रा जयति जयति नृत्या सत्यविश्वेशमूर्ते जयति जयति नृत्यं तस्य सर्वप्रियाणाम्। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So in the 29th verse, which was a very elaborate explanation, where the sages who condemn the association of women, they are glorifying Lord Balaram's association with the cowherd girls, the Ras dance. So in the previous verses also, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he mentions that the Rasa Leela done by Balaram and the Rasa Leela of Krishna, they are different. The set of gopis of Balaram are also different from the set of gopis of Lord Krishna. When Lord Balaram has been sent in this, particularly in this autumn season, spring season you can say, in this Chaitra Mas, in the Vaishak Mas, Lord Balaram was sent to Vrindavan. He stayed there for more than 2 months. There he was sent to pacify the set of gopis of Krishna, and also his set of gopis were experiencing the feel of separation. So to pacify everyone, especially Nanda Baba, Yashoda, all the Gopa friends, Balaram comes to Vrindavan. And in the Vrajabhumi, when he is performing the pastimes, there is shower of flowers from the sky. The Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, all the celestial residents, they were all singing wonderful songs, showering the flowers, and so much of kettle drums and the sound of kettle drums and all were heard. And all the sages also are glorifying this Ras dance of Balaram. So that means we should never understand that the Rasa Leela of Balaram and Krishna, they are not on the mundane platform, because such Rasa Leela is not found even in the heavenly planets, then what to speak of in the earthly planet. So on the name of a Rasa, there are certain people, there are certain sects of people who actually fool, because in this earthly planet, we can never find any Rasa. There are some gurus who propagate, oh, Ras is happening in our ashram. It cannot happen, it can never happen. Because even in our heavenly planets, such a Rasa Leela is not happening. Only when Krishna appears along with Balaram, he can perform Rasa Leela in this earthly planet, because wherever Krishna is there, there is no more earthly planet, that becomes heavenly planet, that becomes Goloka Vrindavan. When Krishna is physically present here, Krishna is always present. Krishna is present everywhere. At the same time, when Krishna performs the pastimes along with a set of gopis, that is acceptable and that is appreciated by the sages. Now 30th verse onwards. Yandra rasi devi asi pushpa vrishti kore deve jane bhedanahi Krishna haladhare. So Vrindavan Das Thakur says, the demigods came, showered flowers on his Ras Leela, because they did not find any difference between Krishna and Balaram. What is the difference between Krishna and Balaram? There is no difference except for one is servant to God, one is served God. Krishna is served God and Balaram is servant God. In the purport Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, the Chaitanya Chaitamrita Adi 5.4 to 5 also states that there is no difference between Krishna and Balaram in the following words. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. They are both one and the same identity. They differ only in form. He is the first bodily expansion of Krishna and he assists in Lord's transcendental pastimes. So, what is the difference? When Lord Swayamrupa appears as Vaibhav Prakash, here Vaibhav Prakash means changing the form, changing the color, and there is difference in the activity. What is the difference? Krishna is Bhoktaram, Krishna is enjoyer, and Balaram he assists Krishna in Krishna's pastimes. Also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 20.174, it is stated the first manifestation of the Vaibhav feature of Krishna is Sri Balaramji. Vaibhav Prakash. Swayam Prakash, Vaibhav Prakash. Swayam Rupa, Krishna himself. Swayam Prakash, when he appears with all the set of gopis, that is Swayam Prakash. At the same time, when he appears with all the 16,108 beings of Dwarika, that's all Swayam Prakash. When you say Swayam Prakash, Swayam Rupa Govinda himself, Swayam Prakash appears as if he has multiplied himself. Vaibhav Prakash showing his opulence. And what is that opulence? He can appear in different forms. He can change his color. He can change his activity. That is Vaibhav Prakash. Now, Balaram is equal to Krishna in all respects. Lord Krishna glorifies Balaram, who is not different from himself in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.15.88. You have embraced the young cowherd women between your two arms, a favor hankered after by the goddess of fortune herself. Even Lakshmi wants it. So, in this way, he is glorifying Balaram. Krishna is glorifying Balaram. And he wants to say that Lakshmi wants to hug Krishna. Now, here, Krishna is telling to Balaram that even Lakshmi is hankering for such a wonderful embrace. That means he is proving that Balaram is not different from Krishna. Chari Vede Gupta Balaramera Charita Amiki Baliva Sabha Purane Vidita. So Vedas, Chari Veda Gupta, he is very confidential subject matter in the Vedas. But in the Puranas, they are revealed. That means the characteristics of Balaram are revealed in the Puranas, but they are hidden in the Vedas. Then Vrindavan Das Thakur says, "What will I speak?" Vrindavan Das Thakur is Vyasa of Chaitanya Leela. He is Vyasa of Chaitanya Leela. He says, Vyasa of the Vedas, Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa, he also saw that this is a very hidden topic, a very most confidential topic. That is why he did not mention this in the Vedas. But they are mentioned in the Puranas. What am I going to speak? Whatever is hidden in the Vedas is known through the Vaishnava Puranas. So which Purana it is there? Not in ordinary Puranas, only in Vaishnava Purana. Regarding the glories of the Puranas, one may refer to the verses 12 to 17 of the Tattva Sandarbha, one of the Jiva Goswami 6 Sandarbha. In the Mahabharata, Adi 1.267, it is stated, one should expand and accept the meaning of the Vedas with the help of the Itihasas and Puranas. One is Shruti Pramana, one is Smriti Pramana. Shruti Prasthana and one is Smriti Prasthana. Smriti means hearing and presenting in a proper way. So Smritis are the Puranas and the Itihasas. Shruti are the Vedas. So how to understand Shruti? Only with the help of Smriti Shastras or the Smriti Prasthanas. Smritis are the realizations of the sages, and they were all Shrutidharis. Shrutidharas means whatever they used to hear, they used to present it as it is, along with some of the examples to make us understand better. So Vedas have certain axioms. Axioms means the formulas, which could be only understood by very highly qualified scholars. But then it was very difficult for an ordinary person to understand the same formulas. That is why Itihasas and the Puranas, they teach us in a very, very wonderful way. The Itihasas, there is the Ramayana, Mahabharata. Ramayana especially is known as Kavya. More wonderfully and a more, I can say, how to give the highest thing to the lowest people by giving it in a very wonderful way, in a soft way, in a mild way. Vedas are heavy thrashings, but we cannot thrash everyone. We have to keep them in a very mild way, in a soft way. That is why you see those teachers are accepted, those who understand the heart of the students. If the students are not able to understand, then the teachers have to present it in a very, very simple way. So Puranas and Itihasas are the most simplest way of presenting the uh, difficult formulas which has been given in the Vedas. Now, Krishna Tattva, Radha Tattva, Dham Tattva, Guru Tattva, very difficult to understand. Now, the same tattvas means truth, is presented in the Vaishnava Puranas in a very, very simple way, which even a person who is not having much intelligence also can understand. Because seeing the Kali Yuga doshas, Vedavyasa wrote whole Vedas in writing, presented the Puranas also, but afterwards when Narada comes and presented Itihasas also, still he is not having that bliss. Then Narada Muni comes to his ashram. Then Narad, because Narad Muni said that whatever you have given is only adding fuel to the fire. Already people are burning in sense gratification on the name of Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas. They will do more. They will not be able to understand the subject matter of the Vedas. The subject matter of Veda is Krishna. Vedeshta sarve rahame vyavetya Vedanta krudve chaham. Krishna has given the Vedas. So the subject matter is Krishna, but you have given so many ritualistic, you have given importance to ritualistic activities that a simple ordinary person, if he studies the Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas, they will never come to the conclusion. That is why present Bhagavat Purana. So Bhagavat Purana is the Vaishnava Purana. So the topics which is very difficult to understand in the Vedas becomes easy when we study Bhagavatam. Somebody asked me, Mataji, what should I study? Bhakti Shastri or Bhakti Vaibhav? I said, if you first Bhakti Shastri, because Bhakti Shastri makes you understand what to do. You should know first what to do and then how to do. That is there in the Bhagavatam. That is, elaborate explanation is there in the Bhakti Vaibhav class. Now, why Bhakti Vaibhav is required along with Bhakti Shastri, then only we can understand the combination of, can say, how interdependence of how and why, how and what. If you know what to do, then you should also know how to do. If you don't know how to do, just understanding what to do will be insufficient. So if one is jnana, then other is vijnana, applied knowledge. That is why both are important. Jnana is also important and vijnana is also important. Jnana, vijnana. If we don't have that jnana and vijnana, then there will be only jnanam and there is no application, and then one can never understand bliss in devotion. That bliss in devotion can be understood when we know these tattvas. Krishna tattva, Dhama tattva, Guru tattva, Radha tattva. Now in Guru tattva comes Balaram. So Balaram tattva, which is very, very difficult to understand, it is the most confidential subject matter in the Vedas. Now it is very clearly said that is revealed in the Vaishnava Purana. So all that is established in the Vedas is also established in the Puranas without doubt. If a person rejects the Puranas, even if he is controlled in senses and mind, he will take birth as an animal. He can never attain the goal of life. So Puranas, which is known as Smriti Prasthanas or Smriti Shastras, Smriti means remembrance, remembering and presenting. If a person thinks, because there are certain sects of people, they only accept Vedas. They say Shruti Prasthana, whatever has been given, shlokas has been given, that is unchangeable, and that is only that Vedas only we are going to accept. Puranas, Itihasas, any of they are presented by the sages, we are not going to accept. That is only Smriti Prasthana. But very clearly, it has been said, if we don't accept Puranas, we have to come back again as an animal, because we are not respecting the sages who have studied the Vedas, remembered the instructions, and presented it in such a way that it can be applicable at any time, place, circumstances. In the Skanda Purana Prabhasha Khanda, it is stated, "O best of the Brahmanas, I consider the Puranas equal to the Vedas. All that is established in the Vedas is also in the Puranas without doubt. The Vedas feared that their purport would be distorted by inattentive listening, but their purport was established long before by the Itihasas and Puranas. Moreover, O Brahmanas, what is not found in the Vedas is found in the Smritis, Smriti Shastra, Smriti Purana. Puranas are the Smritis, Smriti Prasthana. And what is not found in either is found in the Puranas. So, Smriti Shastras, Puranas. A person who knows the four Vedas along with the Angas, the Upanishads, but also but does not know the Puranas is not very learned. Very important this is. Now, which Smriti and which Purana has been told? Whatever is not found in the Vedas is found in the Puranas, is found in the Smritis. What are those Smritis? That is the 17 Puranas and the Mahabharata Itihasas. That is Itihasas, Mahabharata, Ramayana. What is not found in all these things is found in the Vaishnava Puranas. And the four Vedas along with Angas, Brahmanakas, Aranyakas, Samhitas, Upanishads. Even if he knows all these four things, we have studied this in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita also. Vedas are divided into four parts, four sections, you can say. Brahmanaka sections, Aranyaka sections, Samhita sections, and Upanishads. Brahmanakas are how to have a village life, a city life that has been given. Aranyakas are the section where it deals with the forest life. In the Brahmanaka section, Dharma, Artha, Kama has been emphasized. Performing ritualistic ceremonies for gaining Dharma, Artha, Artha. Dharma is performed for gaining Artha, Artha is performed for enjoying the senses, Kama. Now, Aranyakas are such a sections where the brahmacharis, the vanaprasthis, the sannyasis, they dwell, who are not interested in sense gratification. Now, brahmacharis, they stay in the Gurukul, young boys, they stay in the Gurukul to study the shlokas. That is known as Samhitas. Samhitas are, there are different sections. Like we have in the Samhitas, there are so many agamas. We have Shaurya agamas, how to worship Surya, get the strength. We have Ganpatya agamas, how to worship Ganapati, get the strength. We have Shakti agamas, how to worship Durga ji, get the strength. So in this way, there are certain agamas, how to worship. Then you have Shaiva agamas, how to worship Lord Shiva. Then how to attain moksha? Without worshipping Vishnu, we cannot attain moksha. That is why we have Vaikhanasa agama. So in this way, five principal. Sometimes Mayavadis, they call these five principal demigods, where they think even Vishnu is also one of the demigods. There are certain institutions, they worship these five principal demigods. In this, they consider sun, Ganapati, that is Ganesha, sun, Ganesha, Durga. Then you have Shiva and Vishnu, all in the same category. So that is wrong, because Lord Vishnu doesn't come in the demigod category. And even Lord Shiva also doesn't come in the demigod category, he comes in between. So that is why it's very confusing to understand just the Vedas without understanding the Puranas. Without understanding the Puranas, very difficult to understand Vedas. Then comes Upanishad section. Upanishad speaks about moksha. There Vaikhanasa Puranas has been, Vaikhanasa Agama has been emphasized. So in the Upanishad, you have certain axioms, formulas. Just understanding the formulas, we should understand how to attain moksha, but very difficult to understand on one's own strength. That is why Purana Itihasas has been given. These Puranas are also known as, Itihasas are also known as Smriti. Now there are Vaishnava Puranas which make us understand everything more better. Like you have Vaishnava Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Though Bhagavad Gita is a part of Mahabharata, but Bhagavad Gita contains everything which is not there in other scriptures and also contains everything which is there in other scriptures. That is why Bhagavad Gita just does not come in the category of Itihasas. Bhagavad Gita comes under Vaishnava Purana. The characteristics of Lord Balaram are described in all Vaishnava Puranas, especially in the Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 16 to 25. 6th canto, chapter 16, 10th canto, chapter 34 and 65, and also in the Vishnu Purana, 5.9, 22 to 31. So much elaborate explanation has been given Vishnu Purana and Srimad Bhagavatam. मूर्ख दोषे केहो केहो ना देखी पुराण बलराम रस क्रीड़ा करे अप्रमाण. So out of foolishness, murkha doshe, what is the dosha they have? They are foolish. Because of that, they neglect the Puranas and refuse to accept the authenticity of Balaram's Rasa Leela. There are sects of people who have established their own religion, like Shaurya worship, sun god worship. If you go to African jungles, if you go to certain places, they still worship like you have sun god, Parsis. They have sun as their god. That means they have taken this agama, Shaurya agamas. So it is not just Vedas are restricted to Hindus. There is no word Hindu in the whole Vedas. In whole of the earthly planet, there are people who are worshipping different ways, in different ways, taking shelter of different agamas. If you go to South Africa, South America, Peru, there also you will find certain agamas are, according to certain agamas, they are worshipping. But then, if they don't take the shelter of the Puranas, their worship is incomplete. Now, for Parsis, they have sun as the god, sun god. Now, why to worship sun god? They only taken that much. But who is sun god? They don't know. That is why they don't accept the ultimate authority. Ultimate authority is Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam is Krishna. If a person doesn't take up the shelter of Bhagavad Purana, impossible to understand the different people, impossible to understand the different processes which has been given in different agamas. Once I was hearing a Muslim scholar speaking. He said, we accept Vedas, which is Shruti Pramana. We don't accept Smriti Pramana. Now, there are atheistic people who don't accept even Vedas. They don't accept even Vedas. They are atheists. Atheists don't accept Vedas. That means they don't accept any authority. Now, Vedas speak about different authorities. At least better than an animalistic life, which is into sense gratification, at least some authority is accepted. If a person is not accepting any authority, they come in the category of atheists. But if a person is accepting some authority according to the Vedic principles, at least he is in the process of theism. But then that theism cannot be called as a pure devotional service. The theism becomes a pure devotional service only when he takes shelter of Puranas, especially Vaishnava Puranas. Even Smriti Shastras, even if he takes up that, he will understand the purpose of his process. But then Vaishnava Puranas are the ultimate. So the Murkhas, these foolish people, they don't accept Puranas. One who cannot realize the purport or essence of the scriptures is called a fool. Some living entities are proud of their material designations due to being averse to Lord Krishna, who is beyond material conceptions. They never care to discuss important Puranas like the Bhagavad Purana. Others simply commit offenses by misinterpreting the conclusions of the Vedic knowledge. So that is how they are destroyer of messiahs. Sorry. This Vedic knowledge is a destroyer of messiahs, and that is how they because they don't take shelter of Bhagavad Purana, the Vedic knowledge. They are still in the Nissan. They are unable to destroy the Nissans. And this knowledge, Bhagavad Purana, has the knowledge about the source of the knowledge of absolute truth. These two categories of people refuse to accept the Ras Leela of Lord Balaram. The author has properly condemned these people in verses 38 to 41 of this chapter. Those who attempt to establish that Lord Balram is not the supreme enjoyer without understanding that he is the ultimate shelter, the supreme Lord, are polluted with the defect of foolishness. So Lord Krishna and Balaram are non-different. In one sense, when he serves Krishna, there he is also an enjoyer. How? He is enjoying service to Krishna. And also he is a supreme shelter because he is non-different from Krishna. He is Krishna himself. He is shelter, he is a supreme enjoyer, he gives enjoyment in service also. So in this way, he teaches us the service. In this way, he is the Adi Guru. Ekathani dui bhai gopika samaje karilena rasa krida vrindavana maje. The two brothers Krishna and Balram both perform rasa krida pastimes in the company of the gopis at the same place in Vrindavan. The Rasa Krida in this verse refers to the holy festival as explained by Jiva Goswami in his Lagu Toshani commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.31, 34.13. So the holy festival, Gaur Purnima festival, is very, very important festival where both brothers Krishna and Balaram, they are performing Rasa Krida pastime. That is why this holy festival should not be made unholy by we applying colors on each other. The most stupid festival, if we do on the material platform. This festival is the most spiritual festival if understood that this Holi is played by Krishna and Balaram along with his gopis. That is why in Vrindavan, what they do is they go and put colors on Krishna. There is a way to, in the temples, should perform like this. Outside, putting color on each other, that is also on the name of a ras. Again, that is Sahajiya Bhava, which happens again in Vrindavan. Latmar Holi, they say. So they try to enact the pastime. There's no problem in enacting, but any sense gratification involved, everything gone. So enacting Krishna's pastime is wonderful, but if there is the importance is given for once gratifying the senses, then the purity is lost. This is why Srila Prabhupada says, better don't do that. Because ultimately, this material world is known as Maithunagara. Maithunagara means where sex life has been given a lot of importance. We should be very careful mingling of women and men, applying colors on each other. So that is the most wrong thing. Even though you may say I am Krishna, you may say I am Gopi, we are enacting, but what will ultimately happen? Then there will be the most degradation. That is why we should be very careful. Gaur Purnima festival, very wonderfully Srila Prabhupada has taught us because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in the holy festival to teach us Harinam Sankirtan. Color yourself with Harinam Sankirtan. Drench yourself with Harinam Sankirtan. That is more important. Not only drown yourself, drown others also in Harinam Sankirtan. If you see in this Kali Yuga, Alvars also appeared. In the beginning of Kali Yuga, Alvars appear. What's the meaning of Alvars? Drowning in devotional service. One who is drowned in devotional service and drowning others also in devotional service. In this Kali Yuga, only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appeared to give that prema dhana, Krishna himself. Because Krishna says in this Kali Yuga, if really we have to experience the bliss, that is only by chanting the holy name of Krishna very nicely. So here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask. Hare Krishna. Any questions?
हरे कृष्ण माता जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
Dandavat Mataji. Hare
माता
Krishna
जी,
Mataji.
कृष्ण का रास हम लोग ऐसे सुनते हैं, भी मनाते भी है, लेकिन बलराम जी का रास ऐसे कुछ स्पेशल कुछ
और
नहीं।
भी गोपनीय है, और भी गोपनीय है। क्यों? बलराम जी गुरु तत्व में आते हैं, आदि गुरु हैं, सिखा रहे हैं। उनका जो रास है अपने गोपियों के साथ, वो रास बहुत ही स्पेशल रास है, जहाँ सभी भगवान का गुणगान गाते हैं। तो ये जो रास है, वैसे बलराम जी भोक्ताराम है, लेकिन अभी बलराम जी कैसे आए हैं? सेवक भगवान करके आए हैं। तो इसीलिए अपने गोपियों के साथ, आपने देखा होगा पहले परपट में भी, गोपियों के साथ भगवान के गुणगान के विषय में ही उनका चर्चा चलता है। इसलिए इनका जो रास है बहुत ही और गोपनीय रास है। वैसे कृष्ण तत्व, राधा तत्व, कृष्ण तत्व से भी गोपनीय जो है वो राधा तत्व है, राधा तत्व से भी गोपनीय है गुरु तत्व, और गुरु तत्व से भी गोपनीय है धाम तत्व। एक एक इतना सीक्रेट है। ऐसे लोग धाम में जाते हैं, धाम में जाके क्या चेतना होना चाहिए, वो चेतना रहता नहीं, कुछ और चेतना चलता है। और जैसे ही धाम में जाते हैं, पहले रूम्स को देखते हैं, तो रूम्स को देखने के बाद वहाँ कौन सा वेस्टर्न टॉयलेट है, इंडियन टॉयलेट, फिर प्रसाद कॉन्शियस रहते हैं, मुझे इतना मिला, उतना मिला, इतना कम पड़ा, उतना कम पड़ा। ये क्या है? हमारी भौतिक बुद्धियों से हम धाम में प्रवेश किए हैं। बल्कि धाम में जाने के बाद भूख प्यास तो सताना नहीं चाहिए। नहीं, वहां जाके ज्यादा भूख लगता है। यहाँ अगर एक रोटी खाएंगे तो वहां 4 रोटी खाएंगे। धाम में जाकर झगड़ा करेंगे, मुझे इतना मिला, उतना मिला, इतना कम बनाया, उतना कम बनाया। हम भी परेशान होते हैं, कुक्स को भी परेशान करेंगे, सबको परेशान करेंगे। आप सोचो। तो ये जो बुद्धि से हम जाते हैं, कभी कभी होटल वाला से झगड़ा करेंगे, तो ये बुद्धि से जाते हैं ना। इसे धाम तक तो बहुत ही गोपनीय है। धाम हम हमारे बुद्धि से प्रवेश नहीं कर सकते। धाम हमेशा हम गुरु के साथ ही जा सकते हैं, इसलिए गुरु तत्व भी बहुत गोपनीय है। गुरु हमें धाम में प्रवेश करने के लिए सिखाते हैं। वो गुरु है जो धाम की महिमा को जानते हैं और धाम में प्रवेश कैसे किया जाता है वो भी सिखाते हैं। फिर भी कभी कभी गुरुओं को भी क्या करना पड़ता है, जैसे लोग हैं वैसा थोड़ा सा वेशभूषा धारण करना पड़ता है। ठीक है, आप देखेंगे गुरु इसके पीछे नहीं रहेगा। गुरु क्या मिल रहा है, क्या नहीं मिल रहा है, ठीक है, खा मिल रहा है, खा रहा है, लेकिन उसका ध्यान क्या रहेगा? जप करने में, दूसरों को जप कराने में। इसलिए बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण चीज है। और किसी का कोई प्रश्न है? ठीक, तो कल मॉर्निंग क्लास 8:30 का तो नहीं रहेगा। देयर विल बी भागवतम क्लास 11 बजे का। संस्कृत क्लास कल से चालू हो जाएगा। संस्कृत क्लास 11 बजे ऑफलाइन, और ऑफलाइन ऑनलाइन बोथ 11:30 से भागवतम क्लास रहेगा। एंड देन इवनिंग 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 4:30 to 5:30 there will be diploma course for the old students, and 6 o'clock to 7:30 new section, 7:15 7:30 तक new sections में will have the diploma course. That is also offline online mix, because there is certain we want to attend from the first, so that new batch in the Kashinath Nalikar hall. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.